So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Ozzie Nelson and His Orchestra, 1943. I'm giving it 4 to 5 stars. I like the music in this one. This is going to be another short on Torrid Zone disc. It only took me a week for them to ship me this. There's the disc. The Torrid Zone. James Cagney. And Sheridan. Name doesn't ring a bell. All right. So according to IMDb, Ozzie Nelson leads his orchestra in 2 standard numbers, and Ozzie performs 2 novelty songs. I thought all the music was decent. The middle part was kind of not very funny. Attempt at humor by singing, kind of singing through his lines, Ozzie Nelson. From Ozzie and Harriet, a TV show that I've never seen in my life. This short is on the Warner Brothers DVD for Watch on the Rhine also, 1943. Leonard Maltin mysteriously missing from this bonus features. Michael Elliott, April 30th, 2011, on IMDb, reviewed this. Good music from Vitaphone. He gives it 3 out of 4 stars, kind of similar to my rating. A little bit lower, though. A nice entry in Warner's Melody Master series, which was used to show audiences current popular musicians. Ozzie Nelson is performing this time, and it's clear the studio is hoping to get young women interested as they open up the short, focusing in on his rather good looks. And we even get a couple attractive women in the crowd looking at one another as if they were commenting on his good looks. We get 4 songs performed: Come On, Get Up, Chinatown, My Chinatown, The Mamas and the Moolah, and Central Avenue Shuffle. And Nelson does a very good job with each of them. In between the music, we get a couple strange performances. Yeah, this is a part that I didn't care for, where Nelson appears in bed with a rather annoying woman, comes and tries to wake him up. This followed by another sequence where Nelson was once again in bed, but this time he's in the army and his men are trying to wake him up. I'm not really sure what the point of these were, as they add very little to the film, but they were mildly charming in a goofball type of way. I'm not into goofball. And whoever reviewed this must be reviewing a different one than the one I saw. Because the one I saw had him in his office with his secretary, keeping people out like a life insurance salesman and a prospective trumpet player. So that was a little different. Maybe there are different versions of this. I don't know. The Mamas and the Moolah is clearly the highlight of the short and comes off last as Nelson in his uniform sings a song in a comic manner. I must admit that it was rather strange, but at the same time catchy. Is this the same one that I saw? I don't know. Oh, I already got 1 thumbs up, but nobody's in the chat room. All right, let me show you my Netflix DVDs, because I got 2 that I was supposed to get last week. And I got 2 yesterday. This is 20 Million Miles to Earth. Cool looking disc there. Nice looking monster. I think it's in black and white. We'll see. And then I started watching this disc because I didn't get the first 2 that I showed you until today. And I got these 2 yesterday. The Howling. Here's the first one that I got yesterday. Joe Dante's attempt at humorous horror before he did Gremlins and Inner Space. got a lot of good actors in this. And it's got 7 sequels. It's kind of like Amityville horror in that respect. It's got 7 sequels. The Amityville sequels are better than the original, in my opinion. But Adrian probably disagrees with me on that. This is the French Connection. I think this is another Adrian mention. I have no idea why it's in my Netflix queue. All the Adrian mentions are bunched together right now. All right. I guess I'll go through my list because I keep adding cult cinema classic. I can't stop. I'm addicted. Well, I didn't like Shamrock and Lucky in Hostile Country. I had a bunch more Shamrock and Lucky westerns from Lippert. I guess before they started getting into film noir and horror, they were doing westerns at Lippert. All right. Rotor. I started watching that. It's a riff tracks on YouTube. The Wrong Road, 1937, You Bet Your Life. Identity Unknown, 1945. Chain for Life, 1942. Untamed Women, 1952. Texas, Brooklyn, and Heaven, 1948. Beast from Haunted Cave, 1959. Moon of the Wolf, 1972. Hurricane Smith, 1992. Showdown, 1993. Best of the Best 2. TNT, 1997. My Dear Secretary, 1948. The Mystery Man, 1935. Bride of the Gorilla, 1951. Letter of Introduction, 1938. Dick Tracy versus the Mole, Season 1, Episodes 9 through 12. Devil's Island, 1939. Angel Town, 1990. Mercenary, 1996. Night Fright, 1967. DEFCON 4, 1985. Santa Fe Trail, 1940. Renegade Girl, 1946. Passport for a Corpse, 1962. Black Dragons, 1942. Cyborg Cop 2. Drums of the Desert, 1940. Shock, 1946. It Lives by Night. Train to Tombstone, 1950. Deputy Marshal, 1949. Broadway Unlimited, 1941. The Strange Woman, 1946. The Fighter, 1952. Bamboo Gods and Iron Men, 1974. Zero Tolerance, Ulterior Motives, 1992. The Big Chance, 1933. I'll See You in Hell, 1960. Three Desperate Men, 1951. The Star Packer, 1934. The Devil's Hand, 1961. My Outlaw Brother, 1951. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Talons of the Eagle. Riders of the Whistling Pines, 1949. Portraits of Terror, The Final Curtain. Safe and Effective, A Second Opinion, 2022. Malibu Crush, 2022. Dead Ties, 1996. Easy Money, 1936. Swing High, Swing Low, 1937. An Eye for an Eye. The Real Anthony Fauci, 2022. Return to the Batcave, The Misadventures of Adam and Bert. The Giant Gila Monster, 1959. Shadows on the Stairs, 1941. The Bigamist, 1953. The Unholy Four, 1954. Triple Cross, 1966. Hold Me While I'm Naked, 1966. Head, 1968. 1990, The Bronx Warriors, 1982. Exterminators of the Year 3000, 1983. Platoon Leader. Penny Serenade, 1941. Creature from the Haunted Sea, 1961. War of the Satellites, 1958. The Black Raven, 1943. He Walked by Night, 1948. They Were So Young, 1954. Whatever It Takes, 1998. One Dark Night, 1982. Cipher Bureau, 1938. Sinners in Paradise, 1938. What Price Crime, 1935. Maytime in Mayfair, 1949. He Walked by Night, 1948. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, 1946. The Wrong Road, 1937. Tarzan the Fearless, 1933. Monstrosity, 1963. Diamond Trail, 1933. Sinful Cargo, 1936. Youth on Parole, 1937. I'll Name That Murderer, 1936. The Chase, 1946. Impact, 1949. A Stranger in Town, 1943. Half a Sinner, 1940. Captured in Chinatown, 1935. Rimfire, 1948. Deputy Marshal, 1949. Tales of Robin Hood, 1951. The Magic Sword, 1962. Bandit Queen, 1950. Crooked River, 1950. Marshal of El Dorado, 1950. Colorado Ranger, 1950. Bandit Queen, 1950. And last but not least, Wild Weed, 1949, with Lila Leeds, who got busted with Robert Mitchum for smoking pot, but he was the charges were dropped against Robert Mitchum. That's what he likes to remind everybody. All right. If I was in his shoes, I'd want to remind everybody that the charges were dropped, but Holly, the lamestream media only cares about that he was charged. They don't care that the charges were later dropped. They missed that part. So understandably, Robert Mitchum is upset about that. All right. Well, I got 7 hours of sleep today after working the graveyard. I picked him up. I gave him some chicken noodle soup. And I'm eating his leftover penny pasta there. And I'm pretty well stocked up on food. I got $19 cash tips yesterday, which is pretty decent for a graveyard. I'm hoping to get $150 because there's a big concert going on over there tonight, and the hotel owners' pals are going to the concert. So hopefully after the concert, they'll get their cars and they'll give me $100 cash tips. And yeah, and I can get another 50 from just random hotel guests, not the hotel owners' pals. All right, so I'll continue watching the bonus features on Torrid Zone. I'll probably have another review up tomorrow or Saturday, because these shorts are like 9 minutes long. This one was 9 minutes anyways. All right. Well, that's the end of my review. One of the better shorts, finally. Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra. Ozzie Nelson. All right. Ozzie Nelson was a U.S. actor, producer, screenwriter, musician, composer, conductor, and band leader. Wow. What an impressive resume this guy has. He originated and starred in the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, a radio and television series with his wife Harriet and two sons David and Rick Nelson. I saw Ricky Nelson play at the Monterey Fair with my parents. That was kind of interesting. I think he died in a plane crash, Ricky Nelson. So I get to see him before he died in a plane crash. He kind of looks like his dad, Ricky Nelson, a little bit. He died in 1985. So I must have saw him right before he died. Ricky Nelson. Ricky Nelson died when the Douglas DC-3, on which he was a passenger, crashed into trees, poles, and electrical wires when he attempted to make an emergency landing while in flight between Guntersville, Alabama, and Dallas, where he was to perform a New Year's Eve concert. Nelson's DC-3 seemed constantly beset by mechanical problems. Both pilots survived, but all 7 passengers died, including Ricky Nelson. If you go on Wikipedia, you see his Lawton, Oklahoma. He's got the he's got the 70s hairdo in that one. We like Ricky Nelson. Laters.